What's up everyone, Zero here. So welcome to another volume of the TLDR craft guide. Once again, I am keeping these videos brief for you guys. That way you can just go to specific videos, spend a few minutes watching them, and hopefully you guys get some good information out of them. If these help you out at all, please consider subscribing to the channel because that helps me out a ton. In this video, we're going to go over the Eldritch currencies, how to use an Orb of Conflict to raise up your implicits. So let's get into it. If an item does not already have an implicit modifier on it, you can add an implicit. And the way you do this is with the Ichor and the Embers. The lesser is obviously going to be the lowest tier, with the exceptional being the highest tier. What I do to make money early on in the leagues, I will buy an item base with a fractured modifier on it. The fractured modifier is the affix that's grayed out on the item. The way you get a fractured affix is by using a fracturing orb. Those are quite expensive, so we'll get into that a little bit later on when we get into some of the higher end stuff. Once you fracture an affix, it cannot be changed, no matter what you do to the item. So you can chaos it, essence it, it doesn't matter. The fractured affix will not change. You can pick these up for anywhere from 10 to 100 chaos. Some are a couple of divine, just depending on what base they're actually on. I will get an item base like this that has fractured cold resistance on it, and it won't have the implicits already on it. I'll take a deafening essence of greed, which is going to guarantee me max life, and I'll roll it until I get spell suppression on it. There we go. I got tier 1 spell suppression. This has decent stats on it already. I can just leave it as is. I can use my annulment orb to remove a random affix, but then again I risk the chance of taking the spell suppression off it or the max life. Another option that you have is you can use the other Eldritch currency, an Eldritch Chaos Orb, or an Eldritch Orb of Annulment, or an Eldritch Exalted Orb. Now what these do is if the Searing Exarch is dominant, it'll reroll prefix modifiers. If the Eater of Worlds is dominant, it'll reroll suffix modifiers. With the annulment, it'll remove them. And with the Exalted, it will add them. And how you know which one is dominant is by using these. So the high tier one is obviously the more dominant one. So that's a way that you can more deterministically craft these items, but just depending on how much investment you want to make in them, because these can get quite expensive as well. But with that, I can go over here to my Ichor, and I can hit my Ichor until I find something good. So here's an extra spell suppression on it, and then I can add my Ember to it, and let's see. There you go, attack speed. So I look at this. These are worth 3.7 divines, and this base cost me 40 chaos, and there you go, you have 3.7 divines off that. And this is what I do very early on. I'll shop, I'll find the fractured bases, put a few essences on them till I get spell suppression or chaos resistance or something that everybody needs. I'll add the implicit modifiers to it, and there you go. You can find the list of implicit modifiers that can roll on the item on Craft of Exile. So you can kind of see. You can also go on PoE Ninja and see which bases people are using. Like this league, this is a very popular base. The non-veil skills strike additional targets. If you can get that on a pair of gloves along with the increased damage per strength or intelligence, it goes for a lot. If you'll notice, these gloves have non-veil skills strike 2 additional targets. If you're rolling the Ember, you'll notice that you can only get up to 1 target. And the way to raise that up to 2 is with this Orb of Conflict. Now what this does is it'll raise the tier of one of the implicits randomly. But there is a way to have less risk of doing this. So what you do is you roll the non-veil skills, strike 1 additional target with a Grand Ember. You roll another implicit, doesn't matter what it is, with the Ichor. Make sure it is also Grand so that they are the same exact tier. You hit your Orb of Conflict and you hit Alt, and you'll see that one of them has gone down and one of them has gone up. If the Veil skills implicit goes up to Exquisite, then you want to roll an exceptional Ichor to raise that up to the same exact tier. And then you use 1 more Orb of Conflict, and hopefully you get your non-veil skills, strike 2 additional targets on your gloves. If that doesn't work, you just start all over again. This can get very pricey if you're not doing it correctly, so make sure to follow those steps. If you look, these gloves cost me 15 divine to roll, and they are worth 80 divines. So yeah, that's it for this video. Once again, if this helps you out, please consider subscribing. I got plenty more of these videos to come, so stay tuned. See you guys next time. Peace.